Hey you guys, it's me Paco, and welcome back to Bad Witch Books. Hey you guys, so welcome to my August reads, my August wrap-up. I read 11 books this month. I don't know how I did it. I think the readathon I did really helped, because I was trying to get through those books. I did a one readathon. Of course, if you guys saw my readathon vlog, the tarot readathon, so you know some of the books are already on this list. But yeah, overall, like I said, I read 11 books. I have my statistics right here, so if I look down, that's what I'm looking at. One was a 2-star. I had 3 3-star reads, 5 4-star reads, and 1 5-star read. I read 4,189 pages. There were 2 high fantasy books, 1 thriller, 1 contemporary, with 3 urban fantasies, 3 comics, and 1 historical fantasy retelling kind of thing. I don't know how to, what it's classified as, but one of those. But yeah, let's get to the books I actually read this month. So the first book I finished in June. I may have said this is the June wrap up. It is August now. In case I said August, I meant June. But yeah, the first book I read this month, Witches Steeped in Gold. This is about 2 witches. I read this at the beginning of the month, which is why I have to just look at their names. Ira and Jasmine. Ira is a witch who her family ruled this island inspired by Jamaican lore, or it's like a Jamaican inspired fantasy. But Ira's family ruled this kingdom. She was part the princess, and Jasmine's mother overthrew her family and everything and took over. And so now Jasmine's mother, this one's Jasmine, she's kind of a dictator, kind of ruling with an iron fist, and Jasmine's I need to take over to set things right. And basically her and the other, she tasked the team up with Ira to work together to try to take over the kingdom, kill her mother. It's a very good story. I gave it 3.5 stars. The only issue I had with it was the pacing. It felt I think I was talking to my friend Malia, and I told her when I was middle of reading it, I was we're 300 pages in, and they barely have made their plan, or some 100 pages in, and they barely made their plan to work together. And the pacing felt a little slow for me. So that was my main issue with it. The magic was really interesting. I really like Ira as a character. I believe that's how you say her name. She was my favorite character of the 2. And I'm excited to see what more. I feel if I binged this series, I'd appreciate it more. But like I said, I'm excited for book 2. And 3.5 isn't a bad rating. The next book I read was We Free the Stars by Hassa Faisal. This is the sequel to We Hunt the Flame. I gave We Hunt the Flame 3 stars. I might have to reread that book, because listening to this audiobook was so good. The yearning that the 2 main characters had for each other, I don't want to spoil it, it might not spoil it, might not, I don't know, but had for each other was just so good. Just so their chemistry was just there, the way they were feeling for each other was just there, and I wanted them to get together so bad. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I don't want to get too much into what happens, just because this is the sequel. This takes place right after We Hunt the Flame. Really good book. I gave it 4.5 stars. I might need to reread We Hunt the Flame and then reread this, because I want to tab this up. I started tabbing at the end of the month, which I wish I was when I read this, because there was just so many quotes I loved from it. But yeah, I'm gonna put him right here next to the plushie I got of him. Let me just show him off. My little main character. So here. But yes. So in love with that book. That book was so good. So the next book I read was The Iron Knight by Julika Kawa. This is the 4th book in the Iron Face series. So I think this is the ending book in the first wave of the Iron Face series. This is more of a it's put into the 4-book series, but this is kind of a side story. This is unlike the other 3 books that follow Megan. This follows the male love interest Ashton as he tries to become human, so that he can be with Megan. I try not to go into too much spoilers, but yeah. If you know, you know. Love this book. I love the world building Julie Kakawa does in this. I love the characterization we get of, like, Ashton. Ash. I don't know why I'm saying Ashton. Don't know what's wrong with me. With Ash, and I love Grimulkin in this book. I love Puck, and I love the other characters we meet in this book. But yeah, I enjoyed this. Like I said, I think one of my favorite things about Julie Kakawa, because I also really love her Shadow the Fox series, is her world building and just the world she creates. Because like the series is very based on like the Fae, and so I'm excited. I will probably read the rest because I do want to read the Iron Raven, which came out this year. I just have to read the second like series in the Iron Fae series. But yeah, I'm excited. Right there. So the next book I read was This Coven Won't Break by Isabel Sterling. This is the second book to These Witches Don't Burn, and it is about an elemental witch, Hannah, that has to do with witch hunters that come after her coven. I enjoyed it. It was alright. I gave this book 3 stars. It wasn't bad. It was very fast-paced. It was an okay read. I might unhaul the series eventually just because, like, as much as I liked it, I didn't love it. The cover's gorgeous. And it was a good book. I liked our characters. I really liked the way she dealt with trauma from the last book. And I really do like the witches they have in this book. Like, they have like 3 different types of witches, and we learn more about the blood witches in this book. So yeah, interesting read. Put her right here. So the next book I read was for the Tarot Readathon. The card I drew for this was the Star, which was to read a graphic novel or comic, and since I've been like getting back into comics, I decided to read House of X / Powers of X by I know this writer, Jonathan Hickman. I knew his first name. It's by Jonathan Hickman, and the artist of the book is Pepe Larraz and R.B. Silva. Beautifully done book. The art is amazing, like top amazing art. And I enjoyed this series. It is the setup for this new era of X-Men we have, where the X-Men mutants, all the mutants, have set up an island nation on this island named Krakoa. It's a sentient island named Krakoa, and Charles Xavier and Magneto and Moira Taggart set up this island nation to, like, for mutant survival, because basically one day everybody on Earth hears in their head Charles Xavier say, "The world you live in has changed," and he using this like sentient island has created like 3 drugs, one that can cure mental diseases like Alzheimer's and stuff, one that can make humans live longer, and one that cure other diseases. I think, forget what the third one does, but I know those 2 do something. And he says if you give our island nation if you like realize our island nation or whatever, we will sell these drugs to you. And it's basically just a setup and all the steps that Charles and Magneto had to do to set up this nation. I've already have read some books in this like new era of X-Men. Like I've been reading Marauders, and I read some Excalibur. I already read one of the big events that happened already, X Swords, and I was keeping up with the Hellfire Gala, which is all like happens after, and we have the Charles and Magneto that are coming at the end this month or next month, like the end of the summer, which I'm excited for. So I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. I enjoyed the story. I love, of course, my girl Emma Frost was in it. She didn't play a huge part, but she did some bad bitch moments, I feel like, just as always. And yeah, I'm excited to see where we go with this new era. Overall, it was a 4-star read, really good read. I don't know what I have to say after that. So the next book I read on Audible, I listened to the audiobook for this, was Song of Achilles, and this was for, I don't remember the prompt I read this for, but I know the card I read it for, but I know it was to read a book that would be a tearjerker. I don't know if it was because I read it on Audible too. I don't know if maybe I wasn't paying 100% attention. I didn't care for this as much as I care for Cersei, by Madeline Miller, the same author. Oh, I didn't say it's about, if you don't already know, this book is about Achilles and Patroclus, who are lovers in the Trojan War, and like how they got together and everything like that, and it's all from Patroclus' point of view. Very good book. Like, it's a good book. I just didn't care as much. Like, I really love Cersei. Cersei's a 5-star read of mine. And I kind of gave this one a 3-star. I don't know what it was. I thought the ending was really sweet. I did get sad. I don't think I cared for Patroclus as much as a character as I wanted to. And so, yeah. I'm excited. I know one author is doing a song, I think, a book like this. Or, not book, but I want to see what Madeline Miller writes next, because love Cersei, this is a 3-star, and I want to see where she goes with Greek mythology next. Yeah. If that made sense, what I said. Put that behind me. Okay, the next book I read was Wayward Witch by Zordovia Cordova. I read this for the Empress card, which is a book by a female author. This was the 3rd book, I believe the final book, in the Brooklyn Bruja series. I loved it. I love the Brooklyn Bruja series. Labyrinth Lost and Brooklyn Born? Or Brooklyn Brew... No, it's Brooklyn Brujas. The second book is on here, I feel like, somewhere, if I just look through it. But that's never here or there. We're talking about the 3rd one. Wait, I can do it. Bruja Born is the 2nd book. And this book is about the 3rd sister in our sister Brujas. This is about little Rose. And in the other book, she finds out she has a new power. Her powers. And she is, like, learning to use them in this one. But she gets taken to the fairy realm of Az. What is it called? Adas. A-D-A-S. Adas. And her and her father get taken there, and she has to save it, basically. They're like, we need your help. You can leave if you save us. And she tries to. Enjoyable book. I think I preferred... This is still 4 stars. Like, I loved it. Loved our world. Loved Rosie as a character. I think I just preferred book 2 more because I love when the sisters interact, and this one had Rose go separate from her 2 sisters. So, I enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed the first one, so it's like still 4-star books. And this is probably like a highly favorite series of mine. I just wish there was more in it because like there's some characters that we didn't get to see what happened to, and I would love to see that. I'm excited for her adult book she has coming out this year. So yeah, a 4-star read. Okay, next book we have is going to be The Brave and the Bold, Batman and Wonder Woman by Liam Sharp and Roman Fernando Jr. as the artist, I believe. So this is about Batman and Wonder Woman, who... Wonder Woman gets asked by the Lord Chernos, I believe is how you say his name, because a king in this Irish, like, legend world is murdered. And he asks Wonder Woman to help him out because she is also, like, has divinity in her. And, like, his, like, gods say, ask Diana. And so he asks Diana to help her solve this murder. At the same time, in Gotham, Irish district, like, weird things are happening. People are seeing these visions, and so Batman's trying to, like, see what's going on with that. These two end up, like, correlating, and they are forced to work together to try to figure out what happens. I kind of wish I enjoyed this more. The art was really good. I don't know. I didn't care. So I gave it 2 stars. I don't know if this was planned to be a, like, continuing series that got canceled, or if they just never got around to making more books for it. But yeah, I don't know. There was something about it. But yeah, so like I said, 2 stars for that. The next book I read was Wonder Woman, The Circle. Get closer so you guys can see that gorgeous cover. So this is a book that takes place post-crisis, so before the New 52 in the DC universe. And in this story is told like through 2 point of view, and the first POV is we get takes place on Themyscira, where Wonder Woman's from, before she is made from clay. There is a group of Amazons who are like the top 4 guards of Hippolyta the Queen, and they think that Diana being born is a mistake. And then they try to like deal with that. And then the second story takes place is after the Amazons, because of something that happened in a prior comic, have been banished from the mascara, all but Hippolyta. She's like alone on the island. And someone starts attacking the island, trying to take it over. And so Diana has to try to get to the island, and Hippolyta has to try to, like, survive, and, like, revelations get revealed. I enjoyed this story. There was, like, an added 2 other comics to it that I feel like weren't needed. Were there, like, just a 2-parter, because this is a comic bind-up, but, like, the core story, the circle, was really good. I like seeing that not all the Amazons are happy with Diana's birth, but even though they weren't happy with it, you see how good Diana was for the island. And I really do like it. It was written by Gail Simone, who's, like, an amazing comic book writer. She is, like, responsible for how badass Oracle is in the comics, Barbara Gordon. But yeah, so I enjoyed that. The next book I read was for my book club, in that I need to buy a hardcover copy because I want to tab it up. But I read it on Audible, and it was, come on, The Fire's Keeper Daughter by Angeline Bowley. So this book, if you do not already know, because I know this book has been making the rounds lately, and it's very popular, is about a girl named Donis. She is half Native American, half white, and, like, she spends 2 times in her 2 different families, because she has her mom and her grandma, and then her dad's family who live on, like, the native land. And some shit happens, and Donis has to work with the FBI to figure out what happens. I don't want to get too much into it because I really think you should read this book. It is a very dense book, and it goes over a lot of, like, dark topics, but necessary topics with it, and I just high-key recommend it. It was very good. 4 stars, or 4.5 almost. But yeah, very good. That's all I really had to say about it. Like, I don't want to give too much away for it. So the last book I read surprised me. I knew I was going to like it, but I read this book because I was thinking that I had 1 week left in the month, and I was like, I need something to read. I didn't want to start my August TBR yet because I didn't want to, like, finish the books I just didn't want to start my August TBR yet. So I decided to pick up 1,500 Miles from the Sun by Johnny Garziva Villa. This book, so good. This is going to be in my top books of 2021. I did not know I was going to love this book as much as I did. I started this book Monday, and I was, like, already halfway through with it on Monday, which is saying a lot. Like, I finished this book on Wednesday morning, which it takes me forever to read, like, physically read books, but no, I sped through this. I've tabbed it up. It's amazing. But this book is about Jules. His nickname is Julian Luna. He gets drunk at a party, and he accidentally becomes out on Twitter. He lives in Texas. What town is it called in Texas? But yeah, he lives in Texas, and he accidentally comes out in this small town, and this boy that he had a crush on, in his Twitter crush, basically slides into his DMs, and they form a friendship that turns into more. This book was so good. It made me cry. It made me laugh. It was so amazing. This is one of the books that if I could go back in time and give to the little queer brown boy that Mexican boy that I am, I would give to him, because we, of course, our main character is a queer Mexican kid, and, like, I don't know, just seeing this representation was amazing. This honestly is just going to be one of my favorite books. Like, it was amazing. It was adorable. Like I said, it made me want to cry, which is tough with books, because, you know, I'm a bad bitch. But it was making me, like, my tears water. It made me laugh. It was so good. I just can't say enough about it. You guys are going to see me talk more about it, especially in December when I do, like, my top books, because it was so good. Wish I can go back in time and read it again for the first time. I tabbed it up, like I said. It was so good. Like, his friend group was just amazing. His friend group that our main character has was amazing. And I don't have any other words to describe this book, but it's amazing. And I'm just like, go read it. It's so good. Why haven't you read it yet? It's so good. But yeah, that 5 stars if you didn't know. 5.5 if I can do that. But yeah, so favorite book of the year. High key recommend so far, but most likely will be my favorite book of the read of the year. High key recommend. But yeah, so those were my August read, not August Paco. Let me know what you guys read. Comment down below what you guys read. Like the video if you like me, and subscribe if you haven't, because that would be very, very nice. But yeah, I will see you guys next time.